Something has been sitting in the back of your mind, and no matter how much you try to move on from it, you keep coming back to the same question. Part of you feels that something is changing, but you can't quite explain what it is or where it's leading. In today's reading, we're going to explore the reality you're living through, what's unfolding behind the scenes, and what happens next if this energy continues in the direction it's already moving. Stay with me until the end, because the final card often reveals the piece that's been missing all along. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and let's begin. Let's begin with the first card, because this tells me where you are right now. One thing I notice straight away is that you've started keeping your plans to yourself. You're tired of telling people what you're working towards when nothing has happened yet. I also feel you've become much more careful with your money. Before buying something, you stop and ask yourself if you really need it, or if that money could be better used somewhere else. At the same time, you've been thinking about how to improve your situation. You might have looked at job vacancies, thought about asking for more responsibility, or even wondered if it's finally time to make a change. The interesting part is, you've been doing all of this quietly. Most people have no idea what's going through your mind because you've stopped talking and started planning. This card tells me you're preparing for something bigger than people realize, and I don't think you'll be waiting much longer before the first real opportunity appears. Now, let's look at why this has been feeling so intense. I think you've reached the point where you're tired of putting effort into things without seeing much come back. You still do what needs to be done, but lately you've caught yourself thinking, is this really worth it anymore? Whether it's work, your personal life, or a goal you've been chasing, you've started looking at the time you've invested instead of the result you've received. I also feel you've become more impatient with delays. Small setbacks affect you more than they used to because you're ready for something to finally move. One thing that stands out is that you've stopped expecting quick results. You've learned that most things take longer than people admit. This card tells me you haven't been wasting your time, but you've been so focused on what's still missing that you've stopped noticing what's already changing around you. This card shows me something you've been keeping to yourself. You've been thinking about doing something different, but you've kept talking yourself out of it. It could be sending an application, starting a project, learning something new, or simply saying yes to an opportunity that feels outside your comfort zone. Every time the idea comes into your head, another part of you starts listing all the reasons why it might not work. I also notice you've become much more careful about who you share good news with, not because you're secretive, but because you've realized that not everyone is happy to see you moving forward. You're learning to protect your ideas until they become real, and I think that's one of the smartest changes you've made recently. This explains why your mind keeps going back to certain moments. You've been comparing your life now with how things used to be. Maybe you've looked at old photos, thought about an old workplace, remembered a friend you no longer speak to, or simply caught yourself saying, "Things were easier back then." I don't think you want your old life back. I think you're trying to understand where things changed. You're noticing how much you've grown, but you're also seeing how much responsibility you've picked up along the way. This card reminds me of someone who's been carrying adulthood for so long that they've forgotten what it feels like to enjoy simple things without worrying about tomorrow. Now, this is where things begin to move. Something you've been putting off is about to come back in front of you. It could be an invitation, a conversation, an opportunity, or even an idea you've ignored before because the timing didn't feel right. This time, I don't think you'll dismiss it so quickly. You've become more willing to take a chance instead of waiting for everything to be perfect first. I also feel you'll surprise yourself by saying yes to something you would normally overthink. That one decision changes more than you realize because it puts you back into motion after feeling like you've been standing still. This card shows me the pressure you've been carrying. You've been trying to solve too many problems at once. While you're dealing with today's responsibilities, your mind is already worrying about next month. You tell yourself you'll relax once everything is sorted, but every time one problem disappears, another one takes its place. I also notice you've become the person everyone expects to cope. People ask you for help because they assume you've got everything under control, but they don't realize how often you have to motivate yourself just to keep going. This card is showing me someone who's been carrying more weight than they let other people see. This card isn't about arguments. It's about what you've stopped accepting. Your patience has changed. Things you used to ignore now irritate you much faster. You're becoming less willing to listen to excuses, empty promises, or people who only show up when they need something. I also think you've started noticing patterns. The same people making the same mistakes, the same conversations leading nowhere, the same situations repeating themselves. Instead of getting involved, you're beginning to step back and protect your own time. That's a big change because you used to believe it was your job to fix everything. This is probably the habit that's slowing you down the most. You don't usually make quick decisions anymore. Before you do anything, you play different situations through your head. You think about what could go wrong, what people might say, whether it's the right time, and whether there's a better option you haven't considered yet. Sometimes, you spend so much time deciding that nothing changes. I honestly think you've been waiting for certainty, but life doesn't usually work like that. The next step becomes clear after you move, not before. This card tells me you've trusted your doubts for too long and not your experience. And this final card explains what you've really been searching for. I don't think you've been looking for an easy life. I think you've been looking for stability. You want to reach a point where you don't have to keep second-guessing every decision or wondering what's coming next. You want to wake up knowing you're in the right place, doing the right thing, surrounded by the right people. The reason everything has felt so intense lately is because you've outgrown parts of your life that once felt comfortable. You're starting to notice what no longer fits. And once you see that clearly, it's very difficult to pretend everything is the same. I think this reading is showing someone who's much closer to making an important life decision than they currently realize. That's where your reading comes to an end today. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you enjoy these readings and you'd like to see more, I'd love for you to subscribe and become part of the Amuntarot family. I'll see you in the next reading.